Hey guys, my name is Brian and welcome to Brian's Reef. Now this tank has been set up for a couple of months, and so what I want to do here is follow the setup and the progression of this reef tank, all the new things that I get to install, unboxings of equipment I get, new fish that I put in, maybe even tour some stores around the area. I'm in DFW and there's a great market here, and so today what I'd like to do is take a moment to introduce you to this girl right here. This is my 400-gallon reef tank. Alright, so what we've got here is a 96 by 30 by 30 400-gallon reef. Now I think the math works out to something more like 350, 375, but I've got a 60-inch Bashea skimmer underneath, and so the total system volume has got to be at least 400 gallons. That's why I call it that. So what I want to do today is tell you a little bit about my reef, how it got started, and we'll watch it grow from here. So in this tank is probably 400 or 500 pounds of rock. Some of it is Walt Smith's 2.0 rock, which has been in a tank, in my previous tank, and then this one for a little over a year now, and then some other rock that was from a previous system that was broken down that had been in there for multiple years. A lot of this fish came from my previous tank as well, and so what I've got is I've got one Desjardins tang, one yellow tang, I've got a purple, I've got 4 Antheas, and 2 Da Vinci clownfish, one black and one lightning maroon, and I think I'm going to be getting a lot more soon. So what I want this reef to be is predominantly SBS, but mixed reef with a lot of my favorite corals in there. Alright, the whole idea here is that this is a brand new tank, basically. It's not finished, it's far from it. I've got a mess of wires I need to clean up with a new control board. I've got new equipment that I want to replace what's down there with. I want to get a lot more fish, and I want to get this thing stable enough to where I can do an SBS reef. So right now what I've got running in there is a 60-inch Bashea Sump, a 60-inch Bashea Sump. I've got an 8 to 30 Bashea twisted skimmer and a 36-inch tall bioreactor that I've made into a Chaeto reactor. Over the tank is running 4 XR15 Gen 4 Pros and 4 Blue Plus ATI bulbs. So let me take the camera down here, kind of give you a tour of what's underneath and over the reef. Let's go. Alright, so let's start by what's going on under the tank in the sump. Now this is the return side of the sump, and you can see down here I've got a Vectra L1 running as my return pump, but over here this is a Hammerhead hybrid external pump that's currently not on. It's there as a backup in case this fails. Now this pushes a lot more water, so if I ever have to turn it on, I've got to tune things way down, but I could potentially cut it out and get some space for some other things. Right here you see I've got my dosing container, my DDR, and then over here my probes, Apex probes, and then running as my auto top off an ATK unit in there, and I'll try to get closer up on that here in a second. But this is a 36-inch tall, I believe, Bashea reactor, bioreactor, which I've put some LED lights on from Amazon, and I'm going to throw some Chaeto in that, use that as a macro reactor for the system. Over here, down here, which you can't see, let's get this over here a little bit down there. Got a UV sterilizer, and so you can see my sump gets pretty dirty, but I've got a UV sterilizer down there which is maybe turned on a couple times a month. That's just if my water quality, if it just gets a little hazy, I'll turn that on. I don't know exactly how well it works, but It's I think it's just like a 39 watt UV sterilizer from Petco, and it gets the tank pretty clear, but I don't run it all the time. Doesn't seem necessary. So you can see, go back over here, that I've got 2 outlets on the manifold, and the pump is actually running into one of them. So I've got an open manifold, but really this pump is running at full speed, and I'm very happy with it because it is super dead silent. But it's running at full speed to run the full system. So I really don't have any capacity to run other things. You see that the Chaeto reactor here has its own pump that's pushing it, and so does the skimmer, which I'll get to on that side over there in just a second. But coming over here to my bird's nest of junk, you can see I've just got cords and crap everywhere. So this will be one of my projects here, to clean up all this stuff, get a side door on this, and tidy it up. I've got some room up on the wall here, so hopefully get it up there, but right in here is where I've got my Apex and return pump. I've got my BRS dual dosing pumps, some controllers, and then my Gallon Reef auto top off in there. And if you can see it there, I've got a solenoid hooked up to the Apex to turn that off and on, and there's a high-low sensor in the reservoir. So this is just a massive bird's nest of a mess. Now we'll come over here. We've got the Bashea 8 to 30 twisted skimmer, which works really well. You can see it pulls a really super dry, thick skim out of it. And to the intake over there, I've got CO2 cartridge hooked up to it to try to increase my pH. Now, what's running that is this Jabo DCP 15,000. This pushes plenty of air and water through there, so it's running on about 40%, I would say. And then you can see this section right here is dual 7-inch filter socks, which need to be changed right now. And then up here, just kind of placed in here up against it, is dual carbon and GFO, which doesn't run very often either. Just turn that on when things get a little cloudy, because this is a brand new tank, and so trying to keep the cloudiness down, but also making sure to check my phosphates so that I don't strip them to total zero. And then this Home Depot bucket is just a waste for the skimmer. And then you can see down over there, that's my CO2 scrubber cartridge. So this is pretty much it for what's underneath the tank. You can see I've got a light underneath there. I've got a manifold. Each side over here has gate valves, so I can control each side. Gate valves. It's a really pretty quiet system that I'm super happy with. This is a 60-inch Bashea skimmer, 60 by 24, I believe, by 20. So it's an absolutely huge skimmer that I've got plenty of room for everything in. That's pretty much it. That's what's underneath this tank. Alright, as for up here, you can see I've got T5s and Radion XR15s. This is basically the 60-inch Aquatic Life hybrid fixture with 4 XR15 Pros, and then all 4 bulbs in the fixture are Blue Plus, ATI Blue Plus. So I'm showing it now before they really come on, because they're just kind of the blues in the morning. But of course there's so much ambient light from the room coming in there, they really don't show up in the tank right now. But those will come on strong later. Hung them from the ceiling using that guy who's tied in a couple of studs. And this is one of the projects that I'll continue working on, because as the tank gets more mature, I'll have to increase, lighting. So I'll probably put XR30 Pro on each side of it, maybe some more in the middle, but we'll see. But that's the lighting I'm running now. 4 Radion XR15 Pros and 4 bulbs of Blue Plus on a 60-inch aquatic light fixture. Now my schedule for these is, and you can look it up, but a lot like the Worldwide Corals, the WWC schedule that they have, where it's kind of white for half the day and then blue for half the day. That's currently what I'm running, because I just like the look of the blue at night. When it's white, you get a nice shimmer, and we'll show you some of that later. Alright, so there's the overview on what's underneath and what's over the tank. I got the RO unit on the wall, making some water over there as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the new things that I get. Up first will probably be a new skimmer that I've got coming. It's a Reef Octopus. It's absolutely monster, so that's going to go on there, and we'll just see how this thing changes over time. But thanks for watching. This is going to be a new series for me, my 400-gallon reef, so appreciate you sticking with me. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next video.